You know what's interesting? The wealthiest people you know probably don't look wealthy. They drive normal cars, they live in modest homes, they don't post about their portfolio on Instagram. And that's not an accident, that's strategy. Because real wealth isn't about looking rich, it's about being rich quietly, building assets in the background while everyone else is busy broadcasting theirs. Here are 14 moves that let you build serious wealth without anyone noticing. And I'll show you why invisibility is actually your biggest advantage. My name is Evan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, compound interest, and why most people never seem to escape the paycheck to paycheck cycle. If you're someone who actually wants to understand how wealth building really works instead of just hoping for the best, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up being helpful. Let's start with why stealth wealth matters. In a culture that rewards visibility, upgraded homes, new cars, posts about promotions, quiet wealth feels almost radical. But here's the psychology beat most people miss. When your financial details remain private, you draw a clear boundary between your assets and the noise of public attention. Every public reveal creates new pressures, comparisons, judgments, unsolicited expectations, people asking for loans, relatives who suddenly need help, friends who expect you to always pick up the tab. True wealth is about being able to make choices for yourself, not for an audience. When you stop sharing every milestone, you reclaim that independence. So, let's break down the 14 moves that build wealth invisibly. Move 1. Automate everything before you see it. Here's something behavioral economists call decision fatigue. Throughout the day, you decide what to eat, what to wear, how to navigate work, when to rest. By the time you sit down to make financial decisions, your mental reserves are already thin. Each choice to save instead of spend feels heavier than it should. And once fatigue sets in, short-term comfort wins. The solution? Remove choice from the equation. Set up automatic transfers that move money into savings or investments the day after your paycheck hits, before you pay bills, before you see the balance, before you can talk yourself out of it. You effectively pay your future self first. That simple change transforms wealth building into something inevitable. Your financial goals get elevated to the same non-negotiable status as your rent or utilities. Here's a real example. A teacher automated $50 every Friday into her brokerage account. Years later, she jokes that she can't even remember her login because she never needed to check it. That's the power of out of sight, out of mind. Her wealth accumulated automatically. No budgeting nights, no second guessing, just quiet consistency. Over the years, those small weekly transfers built a foundation that manual savers rarely sustain. Move 2. Never discuss income or net worth. This sounds obvious, but most people violate it constantly. They mention their salary during promotions, they talk about bonuses, they hint at investment gains, they complain about taxes in ways that reveal income brackets. Every time you disclose financial details, you create expectations. People start calculating what you can afford, what you should contribute, what you should lend. The move is simple. When asked about money, deflect politely. We're doing fine. Can't complain. Making it work. You don't owe anyone specifics. Keep your numbers private. This protects you from pressure, judgment, and unsolicited advice. The wealthiest people I know are masters at this. They talk about everything except money, and their wealth grows quietly because of it. Move 3. Drive a car that's paid off. Nothing screams broke quite like a $60,000 car with a $700 monthly payment. The wealthy know this. They drive paid off cars, often boring ones, for 8 to 10 years. Why? Because a car payment is a recurring wealth killer. Every month, you're sending money to a bank instead of your investment account. Let's make this concrete with Rich Richard and Poor Peter. Both guys make $80,000 a year. Rich Richard drives a 10-year-old Honda Civic, paid off, reliable, boring. His only costs are insurance, gas, and occasional maintenance. Maybe $300 a month total. Poor Peter leases a new car every 3 years, $600 a month plus higher insurance. Over 10 years, Rich Richard saved $36,000 in payments alone. Invested at 8%, that's over $50,000 in his net worth. Poor Peter has nothing, just another lease payment starting over. Move 4. Avoid social media flex culture entirely. Every post about a vacation, a purchase, a milestone, it's data. It tells the world what you have and what you value. And that data creates pressure. You feel compelled to maintain appearances. Friends and family form opinions about your wealth. Strangers make judgments. The wealthy opt out of this entirely. They don't post their homes. They don't tag luxury brands. They don't share investment wins. They live their lives offline where wealth compounds without an audience. This isn't about being secretive. It's about protecting your mental space. When you stop performing wealth, you stop feeling obligated to maintain the performance. You just build quietly. Move 5. Live in a modest home or apartment. Housing is the biggest wealth killer for most people. They stretch their budget to afford the nicest place they can qualify for. Then they're house poor. All their income goes to mortgage, utilities, maintenance, and property taxes. Meanwhile, the wealthy keep housing costs below 30% of their take-home pay. They buy less house than they can afford, or rent longer than people expect, and invest the difference. Here's the consequence most people miss. Every extra $100 per month on housing is $1,200 a year not going into investments. Over 20 years at 8% returns, that's nearly $60,000. The modest home isn't about being cheap, it's about keeping capital free to build wealth elsewhere. And nobody needs to know your mortgage payment. It's private, it's quiet, it's strategic. Move 6. Freeze your lifestyle after every raise. Why does every raise seem to disappear so quickly? You start with good intentions. This increase will finally make saving easier, but your spending subtly expands to fill the new space. A slightly nicer apartment feels justified. A car upgrade feels overdue. Dinners out feel earned. Each choice seems small, yet together they cancel out the raise entirely. That invisible drift is lifestyle creep. Here's the move. Freeze your lifestyle for 1 year after every raise. Keep spending fixed. Commit the full additional income toward investing or debt reduction for 12 months. This turns a delayed gratification into an engine for acceleration. A graphic designer landed a promotion that increased her salary by several thousand a year. Instead of moving into her own apartment immediately, she kept living with roommates for 2 more years. That freed up $500 a month, which she invested into a real estate investment trust. Over time, her contributions began generating dividends that nearly covered the rent on the upgraded apartment she eventually moved into. By resisting lifestyle creep early, she built an income stream that paid for the upgrade later. 1 year of frozen spending can permanently shift your financial trajectory by transforming temporary salary boosts into lasting assets. And nobody around her had any idea she was doing it. Move 7. Keep your investment strategy boring and consistent. Flashy investments attract attention. Crypto, day trading, real estate flips, options. People love talking about these because they're exciting, but excitement is the opposite of stealth wealth. The boring move is broad market index funds, target date retirement funds, dollar cost averaging into diversified portfolios. It's so boring nobody asks about it. And that's the advantage. While everyone else is debating the next hot stock, you're quietly compounding at 8 to 10% a year. No drama, no stress, no conversations, just steady, invisible growth. Here's the math that matters. If you've been automatically investing $25 a week into a broad S&P 500 index since 2013, you'd have over $20,000 by now. That growth didn't depend on constant attention. Nobody knew you were doing it. Nobody asked about your returns. You just quietly compounded in the background. Move 8. Give anonymously when you give. Anonymous generosity is one of the most authentic expressions of wealth. It lets your values speak louder than your ego. Paying for the car behind you at a drive-thru, slipping a grocery gift card to a family in need. Donating to causes without attaching your name. Each act reinforces the idea that money is a tool, not a trophy. The absence of recognition removes pressure. It keeps the focus on impact rather than appearances, and it protects your privacy. Nobody knows you're the one helping. Nobody adjusts their expectations of you. You just quietly make life better for others without broadcasting it. That's real wealth. Move 9. Skip the luxury subscriptions and services, Spotify Premium, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Apple, Amazon, gym membership you never use, meal kit delivery, premium coffee subscription. Each one feels like 10 to 20 bucks. No big deal. But add them up and you're spending $300 to $500 a month on things you barely notice. The wealthy audit subscriptions ruthlessly. They cancel anything that doesn't provide clear value. They use free alternatives, they share accounts, they keep their monthly recurring costs lean because they know those small leaks add up to massive wealth drains over time. $500 a month invested for 20 years at 8%? That's over $290,000. But nobody sees you cancel Netflix. Nobody knows you're not paying for premium everything. That's the point. Move 10, build 6 months of expenses and never mention it. This is the ultimate financial buffer. 6 months of living expenses sitting in a high yield savings account. It protects you from job loss, medical emergencies, car repairs, anything life throws at you. But here's the move. Never tell anyone you have it. The moment people know you have a cushion, they assume you can afford to lend, to help, to cover things. Keep your emergency fund private. It's your safety net, not a community resource. This boundary protects both your wealth and your relationships. You can still help people when it makes sense, but you do it on your terms, not because someone knows you have the capacity. Move 11, use LLCs or legal entities for assets. Here's where privacy gets serious. Many investors hold their investments through limited liability companies. This separates personal identity from public records. A friend manages 3 rental properties under a company called Oak Street Holdings, LLC. To anyone checking county records, the owner appears as a company, not her. That anonymity isn't just about modesty, it protects her from being seen as a source of loans or financial help by well-meaning relatives. It also keeps tenants and contractors from connecting her to those assets directly. What appears on paper as simple ownership becomes a shield between her private life and her portfolio. Fewer people know what you have. Fewer people have opinions about what you should do with it. That means fewer awkward conversations and stronger peace of mind. Move 12. Build multiple income streams silently. The wealthy don't rely on one paycheck. They build side income streams that nobody sees. Dividends from index funds, rental income through LLCs, freelance work under a business name, royalties from intellectual property. Each stream is small, but together they create financial resilience and accelerate wealth building. The key is keeping these streams private. You don't announce your side hustle. You don't post about passive income. You just quietly collect checks and reinvest them. Over time, these streams grow large enough to replace your job income. But from the outside, you just look like a normal person with a normal job. That's stealth wealth. Move 13. Master the art of selective transparency. Here's a move most people never think about. You can be open about some financial topics while staying completely private about others. This creates the illusion of transparency without actually revealing anything meaningful. For example, you can talk openly about budgeting strategies, share money-saving tips, discuss investment philosophy in general terms, but you never mention actual numbers, never your salary, never your net worth, never your account balances. This selective sharing does something clever. It satisfies people's curiosity just enough that they stop asking deeper questions. You become the friend who's into personal finance without anyone knowing how much you actually have. You can even discuss financial struggles from years ago, making yourself relatable, while your current wealth stays completely invisible. The psychology here is brilliant. People assume that if you're willing to talk about money at all, you must not have that much of it. The truly wealthy, they think, stay completely silent, but that's not quite right. The smartest wealthy people control the narrative by choosing exactly what to reveal and what to protect. Move 14. Keep your major purchases years apart. Here's the final move that ties everything together. When you do upgrade something, make sure years pass between major purchases. You buy a used but reliable car? Great. Now, don't touch your housing situation for 5 years. You finally move to a better apartment? Perfect. Now, keep that car for another 7 years. This spacing strategy does 2 things. First, it prevents the perception of suddenly having money. When people see you upgrade your car, your home, and your lifestyle all at once, they make assumptions. They think you got a big raise, an inheritance, or you're secretly rich. But when purchases are spread across years, each one just looks like normal life progression. Second, it protects your actual wealth building. Those gaps between purchases are when your money compounds aggressively. You're not bleeding capital on multiple upgrades. You're stacking investments while looking completely normal. Let me make this concrete. Rich Richard buys a $10,000 used car in 2015. He keeps driving it. In 2018, he moves to a better apartment, but his car stays the same. In 2022, he finally upgrades to a $15,000 used car. In 2025, he's still in the same apartment, but now his investment account is massive. To outside observers, He's just a normal guy making normal upgrades at a normal pace. Nobody sees the wealth building in the background. Poor Peter does the opposite. He leases a new car in 2015, upgrades his apartment in 2016, leases another new car in 2018, moves to an even nicer place in 2020. By 2025, his lifestyle looks better than Rich Richards, but his net worth, basically zero. He's been upgrading constantly with nothing left to invest. Here's the formula that ties all 14 moves together. Privacy plus automation plus consistency equals invisible wealth. Privacy protects your progress from outside pressure. Automation removes the need for willpower. Consistency compounds results over decades. When these three things align, wealth builds in the background while you live a normal-looking life. Let me leave you with this. The richest form of wealth is the kind no one feels compelled to prove. Building wealth invisibly isn't about being secretive or antisocial. It's about creating financial freedom without the complications that come with visibility. It's about making choices for yourself instead of for an audience. It's about letting your assets grow quietly while everyone else is busy broadcasting theirs. The path to stealth wealth is simple. Automate your savings. Never discuss your numbers. Drive paid-off cars. Avoid social media flex. Live modestly. Freeze lifestyle creep. Invest in boring funds, give anonymously, cut useless subscriptions, protect your emergency fund, use legal entities, build silent income streams, master selective transparency, and space your purchases years apart. These moves don't require high income. They just require discipline and discretion. 10 years from now, you could be financially independent with a 7-figure net worth, and nobody around you will have any idea. They'll still see the same modest car, the same reasonable apartment, the same quiet life. But behind the scenes, you'll have options, freedom, and security that most people only dream about. That's the power of building wealth without anyone knowing. Now go implement these 14 moves. Your future self will thank you.